Hello! It's Nick. Here we are. Look at him. Ah! The pet. Good. Excellent. More. Ah! Bnnuy time. Pet walker. I wish. Pit pat. Oh. Q simulator once again, but this time I know that I'll actually get in, unlike on Tuesday when we didn't actually stream Destiny for 4 hours. Good times. And by good I mean bad. Hello! Alright, this is where we left off, because I didn't know what happened after here. I really had to go. I remember the last time I played this, I had to work in the evening. Man, that's been some time, hasn't it? 2 whole weeks. Fuck. Well then. Honored Science, you're free to enter at your leisure. As I cannot leave my post, I'm afraid you must make your own way. Should you require directions in the city, the sentry station at the fountain atop the steps should be glad to assist you. Hoggies. I feel like the music is a bit low. There we go. Though I've been to Radzatan before, this place is a veritable maze. Rather than risk getting lost, we'd best ask for directions from the sentry at the fountain. Lead the way, and don't expect me to act as a tour guide like certain others. Whee! Rads! The Sag version. Hello! Master Rain, I presume? I understand that you're here for an audience with the satrap. If you require directions to Megaduta, I should be glad to provide them. The satrap's residence is situated in Dharma, the highest part of Radzatan. Take it there. Fuck. I would ordinarily recommend a route that takes you by the bazaars to the city's north. Due to the state of alert, however, most businesses are currently closed and the Aetherite disabled. As such, I will provide you with an alternate path. First, please ascend the steps next to the fountain, then continue left. And there will be more steps. Upon ascending them, you will emerge on Pax's path. Proceed through the large door on the right, and you will arrive at Ruveda Ibis. Within you will find another sentry who will give you further guidance. In other words, we're up. Sounds straightforward enough. All the way. Oh. Whee! Ah, yes, I know about this portal. Leads to a nearby isle. This treasure vault of one of Radzatan's wealthiest families. What colorful sadness. Yes. They took the god of luck into her, the guardian. On account of which they occasionally open up the section of their vaults for aspiring treasure hunters to try their own luck, so they say. There are also coffers hidden across the land as act as portals. Find one and you gain access to the vault. Something to bear in mind in case you exhaust your funds while on the road. It's a troublesome experience, as I can personally attest. What? Running out of money on the road is not good, Estinian? Wow! Tell me more, you magnificent stick man. Man with a big stick. Sharp stick, pointy even. Hello, Venrit. Oh, fuck. I clicked on him. No. You're not supposed to click on Estinian? How dare! Heading to Megaduta, are you? In that case, please follow this hallway to my right and go through the door at the top of the stairs. You'll emerge at the entrance to the airship landing, where another sentry should be on hand to assist you. Incidentally, if you ascend the steps on either side of me, you'll find the workshop of Ruveda fibers. So, though you're free to observe the artisans, take care not to lose your way. Ah, Tovnarian weave. Hard to imagine a more vibrant stuff. I dare say Emmerich would be partial to the gold thread. And the blue, of course. He loves his blue. He sure do. Fuck, man. He sure does. I never put much thought into what I wear. A spare set of clothing is usually all I carry. If that isn't enough, I can always obtain some locally. That is true. You can always just buy more clothes. That is, in fact, correct. Yes. Hello. If you're here for an airship, I'm afraid all flights have been suspended until further notice. So the state of alert is still in effect. Perhaps it's for the best. That aside, we're not here for an airship. We have businesses at Megaduta. Oh, in that case, permit me to direct you. From here, it's quite simple, really. Ascend those steps and then continue straight ahead across the bridge. You cannot miss it. Allow me. Sound effects. Estinian! Ist die Entschuldigung. Ah, I remember passing here with Varshan. The situation being as it was, he regretted not being able to show us the sights. Life has yet to return to normal here, but when it does, you ought to pay another visit. Though the city is confusing, but the food is quite good. I'm partial to hamsa myself. The meat is surprisingly tender and flavorful. Yeah, pretty good. Greetings and welcome to Megaduta. May I inquire after your business? We are members of the Signs of the Seventh Dawn. Come at the invitation of His Excellency. Ah, of course. We've been expecting you. I will show you the audience chamber. If you would please follow me. The music is so good.
Are we the last to arrive? I hope we've not kept you waiting.
I was gonna ask if they paid him by the decibel
Not
too.
at all. Your comrade is feeling better, I trust.
Much better, thank you. Harness remedies are certainly potent, in more ways than one.
One becomes accustomed to the taste, although I hope you never have cause to do so. Pray, take your ease.
Full glad I am to see you all unharmed.
Do you want to talk, Raha? Bitch!
Valiant scions, for your heroism, you have my boundless gratitude. You cast down that dire tower and set free its hapless captives. You cleanse their souls of its corrupting influence. No words of thanks will suffice. In place of platitudes, I offer a bounty of warding scales. Pray accept your due reward, along with the goodwill of Radzat-Han.
Alchemists throughout the land were put to work in the forging of your talismans. The finished ones have been collected, and now await you at the High Crucible of Alchemia. Present this letter when you are ready to take them into your possession.
We are humbled by your generosity. Know that the inventive wisdom of Radzat-Han will be vital in restoring serenity to our star.
Every single one of those scales came from you, didn't they? You must still be in such pain.
Just look at that.
'Tis of no moment, a mere annoyance compared to the dreadful suffering inflicted upon this land and its people.
Albeit brief, my involvement in the Dragonsong War afforded me a glimpse of the myriad sorrows which consumed both dragon and man. Though you were half a world away, such tragedies as befell your kin must have affected you deeply. And yet, you chose to live among men.
In the age when that conflict first bloomed, my choice had already been made. In some distant place, man slew dragon, and dragon slaughtered man.
The music.
Yet no hate could I muster for those smiling faces which did look to me for guidance. Not even my brother's righteous rage could rally me to his cause. I huddled here, secret and still, hoping against hope that which I had built would remain untouched by the chaos and carnage.
'Twould seem we share the same desire for peace, great Vritra. To that end, I wonder if we might trouble you with another question. The Telophoroi are intent on recreating the final days, an apocalyptic event which we know to predate the sundering of the star. As the longest lived among us, know you aught of this terrible cataclysm?
Nope.
Nay. When war and strife drove my sire from his home, he crossed the great expanse with only our unhatched eggs as company. He alighted upon a shattered source, its 13 reflections long since scattered beyond the rift. Of events preceding his arrival, he knoweth naught, save that which Hydralin hath deigned to disclose.
I see. So again, 'tis the inscrutable Hydaelyn to whom you must look for answers.
Seek you to divine the will of this star? If so, I have a tale which may afford you some small comfort. 'Tis a story from my youth, many, many years ago. To my sire, I once posed the question, of all the stars in the sky, why didst thou settle upon this one? To which Midgardsummer did reply, 'twas the last bastion of hope. He believed so long as Hydaelyn endured, so too might dragonkind. Solemn and portentous were his words. What deeper meaning they held, I could not, dared not pursue. 'Tis a stone I've left unturned ever since. Yet take you solace in the knowledge that whatsoever Hydaelyn does strive towards, 'tis an ideal which hath earned my sire's conviction.
Thank you, Vritra. You've given us warm reassurance in a world gripped by cold uncertainty.
While I'm sure we all have a great many questions, I think it's time we collect the talismans and be on our way. Our fight against the Telophoroi is far from finished.
We must take our leave, but please do inform us if we can provide any further assistance.
Prithee, a moment. There is one whom my sire hath judged worthy of honor and respect. The one known to men as Eorzea's champion. This hero of renown and rumor, 'tis thee.
I only wish he could be with us here right now.
I know of his clash with Omega, and the long slumber which was his price. Yet even closed in sleep, my father's eyes are far from blind. He is watching over thee, watching over this world. 'Twas a revelation most pleasing that thou, a child of man, had gained Midgardsummer's trust, but alongside mine elation runneth a rivulet of dread. For upon thy life's reel wind too many threads of fate, power, wheel enmeshed with woe. Amidst this tangled knot, thou shalt know no rest. 'Tis an endless confluence of forces, a struggle without surcease. More terrible still is the attrition wrought upon thy companions, as they are swept up in the storm of thine existence.
Damn it. Damn it. The fucking order. Man.
Take heart and protect them well. They will be your strength and your salvation. The hope thou wilt need come the end. Even cowering behind my curtain, I know the suffering of the powerful. I have watched my siblings driven mad by loss. Thus do I exhort thee to spare no effort to keep thy loved ones safe.
Apologies. We hadn't meant to interrupt.
It's just that we do have a history of suddenly collapsing, and when you didn't follow us out...
'Tis I who must apologize. I have detained your champion overlong with idle chatter. Go. At war's end, I pray I welcome thee back into my hall, where together with thy joyful comrades, you may toast your triumph.
So what were you and Rita talking about? Nothing. Very well, if you say so. The others have gone ahead to High Crucible. Let's catch up to them. The attendant was kind enough to give me direction to the High Crucible. First, let us return to the Mulberry Orchard. Oh, man. They also pick them in the exact order of most sad. Like, the character that the least people cared about dying definitely was Izay. And then the people that most probably cared about dying was definitely Oshfor. Never forget. Omega? What do you mean Omega? Omega isn't dead? Omega is just feature reduced right now. Oh, you mean Omega Sag. Ah. I see. You can see, though, how in context of this game specifically, that's confusing, right? Like, I'm not stupid, right? Like, we literally talked to Vridra about Omega, like, 3 minutes ago. Like, what? Omega isn't dead? What are you talking about? No. Omega isn't dead. Omega is very much alive as small toy. Very cute. Appreciate it. Oh. Man. Omega also, like... I'm so sorry for them. For reasons that I would appreciate if we do not discuss out loud. For the benefit of people who haven't seen the full story and might be watching this right now or in the VOD. But yeah. If you have played... You know why I am so sorry for Omega. From here, we're supposed to follow the path left and past the mulberries. This game is so good. It is so unfair, in my opinion, to compare this game to any other game I have ever played or will ever play. Because there is no other game that will live up to what this game is to me anytime soon. Because there's only one game I've actively played for almost 10 years now, and it's this one. And most other games that have existed and continuously been updated for this long have declined in quality, which is very sad. I don't think I'll see a game this good, this captivating, and this close to me, like, emotionally, for a very long time. Like, this isn't... And not because it's a fluke. I think Final Fantasy XIV is reproducible. But what are the chances of assembling a team this good twice? Because the people who are making 14 will be busy making more 14 for the foreseeable future. Like, at least as how Yoshida sounded, he doesn't plan on stopping making this game for the next decade, at least. Which is very good, because I don't want him to stop making this game. Ever. Please make more. Please. Where the street turns, enter the door straight ahead, then descend the steps. I thought the Crystarium was confusing, but it doesn't compare to Razatan. The architecture and decorations make it even harder to get your bearings. Anyway, let's see where this door takes us. This line is funny to me, because to me personally, Crystarium is worse. Because Razatan has very few things that are layered over each other, which makes it very clear where to go. Whereas Crystarium has 2 or sometimes even 3 levels. And before they added the height indicator to the marker, you got so confused figuring out where the fuck to go in Crystarium. Like, do I need to go up? Do I need to go down? Is this the way? It's not here. I still get confused. Not by the quest markers, but by the Aetheryte locations. It's the West. And here's the Aetheryte Plaza. So far so good. There isn't much further to go to. From here, we just need to cross to the other side of the hall, and then pass through the larger of 2 doorways. The High Crucible lies beyond. I suspect the others have already collected the warding scales. Come, let us join them. Like, sure, Raz is... Oh, right, this is turned on right now. Razatan is, like, convoluted. It's pretty big. It has a lot of places to go. But overall, it's manageable, I guess? Wasn't there an etherite in here? Apparently not. I'm misremembering. Before we talk to the NPCs, let me get the Mandeville etherite for a sec. I love that they added this when they released the Mandeville weapons. Like, because they didn't want people to have to walk down here. There we go. Pog. The Mandarite. Because there's nothing else down here except for the Mandeville quests. There's like 3 side quests that send you down there and nothing else. There is no shops, there is no cutscenes, the main story never goes down there if I remember correctly. It's just for the weapon quest and nothing else. Which is very good. We lost, of course, but at least we found the place.
These are the talismans we were promised.
Yes, and I made a quick count. There are far more than we could have hoped for. Enough to outfit an entire company of soldiers, in fact. Considering the involved process, that they were able to manufacture so many in such a short span of time is nothing short of a miracle.
Once we have distributed them to our allies in Eorzea and the Far East, we'll have a fighting chance to bring down the other spires, just as we did with the Tower of Zot.
Yes.
Or we could use them to invade Garlemald proper, and strike directly at the Telophoroid's base of operations.
This is so cool.
Of course, we would need to consult with various alliance
Oh my
leaders
God.
before such a drastic measure could even be contemplated.
I just realized what we're getting into.
To which end, I could set out forthwith and present the idea to each of our allies in person.
Pray allow me to undertake some few of those journeys. I find myself restless and in need of purposeful duties.
Understandable.
I can head eastward. Bosnia and Dalmasca are just a short hop from here. And Doma's shinobi network should come in handy for passing on the word.
We shall share the burden then. Meanwhile, I think it best that you and the others take the talismans back to the Baldessian Annex. We must keep them safe and secure until we've decided upon a course of action.
Please, I must speak with you.
Nidana! The best girl. There she is. Look at her.
Nidana, you're awake.
Yes. When I spoke with the carer at my bedside, she told me that one of the scions, a young woman, had cleansed me of the tower's corruption. It seems I'd been asleep ever since the treatment. But when I awoke and learned you were all still here, I knew I had to come.
As you said, Nidana was captured only recently. Such a brief exposure is swiftly cured, so I tended to her before we gathered at Megaduta.
And I am truly grateful that you did. I cannot thank you enough. All of you, for everything you've done. Destroying the tower, rescuing our people. You've saved Thavnair from an awful fate.
Yet who hath truly saved whom? Due in no small part to thine inspirational courage, the alchemists were successful in reproducing warding scales of proven efficacy. Replications of thy work now stand ready to travel across the seas, unto the hands of those who might wield them against this rising evil.
The talisman? Is this true?
Nod.
Oh, I was so groggy from sleep. I didn't even think to ask. Oh, our great work sent across the seas. It was worth it. Oh, it was all worth it. Look at that. Its color is completely changed. What do you have there? How unusual. I wonder if the effect is a reaction to Akasha.
I'm afraid I'm not familiar with that term.
Akasha? It is one of the unseen energies defined by Harnish alchemical theory. Though a gross oversimplification, some describe it as an essence influenced by feelings.
You imply that it is distinct from ether?
Foreign scholars often conflate the two, but we see them as separate concepts. Ether is an energy which permeates the land. It exists within animals, objects, even the air we breathe, affecting all through which it flows. Akasha, on the other hand, exists in a domain beyond our reach. A gift bestowed from on high, or torn from the heavens in some traditions. Akasha can neither be created nor destroyed. It is beyond our power to purposefully alter or manipulate. The only thing observed to influence it is an abundance of, I want to say, spiritual emotion. As a veteran of the battlefield, surely you've experienced moments of desperation or exaltation when you've transcended the usual limits of your capabilities. That is a manifestation of Akasha, the invisible essence harnessed by heart, mind, and unyielding spirit.
I really must hear more about this theory. Our disciplines are based entirely upon the idea that ether is the fundamental form of all energy.
I'm glad my haphazard explanation has piqued your interest. But even for us, Akasha is a somewhat abstract field of study. A lack of practical application lends itself poorly to formalized research. Which is why my analysis of your flower can amount to little more than idle speculation. I am sorry.
Nonsense! You have nothing to be sorry for. Your insight is much appreciated.
Shall we depart for Sharlayan then? I will see to it that the talismans arrive at the Annex.
And we will be in touch once our talks are concluded. I suggest you rest while you can. From here onward, sleep is bound to be in short supply.
There we are. Ah, so good. Goodbye, Razzatan. I love this. Just the canon explanation for limit breaks. It's good to be back and with the fruit of our labor safely in storage. For now, we have but to wait for the others to return from their respective meetings with the Alliance leaders. As Thagrid suggested, you should get some rest in the meantime. Welcome back, Rain. Trial surprised me of your recent accomplishments. What an amazing feat to eliminate a tower and pave the way to deal with the rest. While it isn't much, I've changed your sheets and plumped your pillow. After all, there's nothing like collapsing in a nice clean bed after completing a milestone. Be panning a thesis on defeating deiform entities. So would you like to take a look at your new and improved lodgings now? Yes. Oh my god, the quest gives you fucking Archon bread? No. Stale bread. This flower.
Take heart and protect them well.
Good, you're here. You haven't eaten yet, have you?
Burger time.
We've bought quite a spread if you're interested. Only the finest dining from the last stand.
It's time to blow all the budget on a burger. There it is. Borgor. Look at the budget. Look at the budget. It melts like the cheese on that burger.
We invited Estinian as well. But he refused with a rather grim-faced, "No, thank you." I suspect Charlian cuisine is not to his liking.
Oh, I don't know about that. Perhaps our lone wolf just needed some time apart.
Perhaps.
What? To perfect his brooding stare? Next time, I'll drag him out by the ear, sit him down in front of a Charlian feast, and see that he eats every last bite.
An excellent idea. Of all people, warriors must take proper meals and rest if they are to maintain a healthy constitution.
Poor Estinian, beset on all sides.
The Borgor looks so
Speaking
good.
of one's physical condition, Mistress Quile, I hear you recently played literal host to Heidelin herself.
And what an experience that was. Tiring, yes, but no lasting harm done. If anything, I should have liked to speak with her longer. I've not felt a hint of her presence since.
Heidelin instructed you to carry that flower, yes? Twill be your guide, test and proof of your conviction. And then something about seeking joy in darkness, was it? Come to think of it, isn't that what happened with Nidana back in Radzat Han?
The flower did seem to radiate a joyful glow, as if reflecting the elation we all felt. The relief of a people with renewed hope.
Nom.
Indeed. And in turn, I felt buoyed by that radiance. 'Twas akin to spotting a beacon and knowing we were on the right path. I know we've not yet triumphed over the Telophoroi, or learned the full breadth of the Forum's plans. But even within the midst of our struggles, we find small moments of joy to sustain us. Rare and hard-won perhaps, but it is this pursuit of happiness that gives us the strength to carry on day after day. Hey, that's mine.
To the swift the spoils. Though I recall that levitation spell of yours was quick enough.
Only barely. And even at my best, I'm still too slow to wield it effectively in battle. Mayhap I simply require more practice with this new magic.
You unearthed it from the depths of Numenon, I presume?
Aye, and from a veritable mountain of arcane tomes at that. 'Twas necessary to facilitate my solitary explorations.
Or, to put it simply, you used it to sneak around the Forbidden Archives.
Yes, well, after a fashion.
Take the cookie, you cat boy.
They're tall, you see. The shelves, they're too tall for me. And I could hardly move the library's platforms without attracting attention now, could I?
Small boy. Small. Are we pushing until dawn?
I'm not that ambitious. But 'tis pleasant to idle away the hours every once in a while.
Look, it's Queen. Genuine happy. Glad. Hello, Xenos.
Ah! Enjoying the bracing cold, I see. Do you not own a warm coat or a cloak? Something in fur? Or fashioned from the skins of your enemies? Or... well, never mind that. I come to you once more as the bearer of bad news. Our tower in Thavnir has been toppled, and I need not tell you by whom. Given how many we have at our disposal, the loss of a single spire is hardly fatal to our plans. It does, however, slow the rate at which we siphon ether. If they continue to preoccupy themselves with the towers, then all will be well. But should our foe prove bold enough to strike at us here, then the timing becomes questionable.
Our foe is bold enough. Of that, I can assure you.
Oh, his voice is so good.
Yes, very well then. I suppose I must prepare a proper welcome. Honestly, talk of your nemesis is the only thing you seem to enjoy. Does nothing else spark your interest?
No. All else is equal. Equally tedious. Equally disappointing. The world is a tepid bog into which we sink, too weak to thrash as the mud clings to our eyes and fills our throats till we blissfully choke. But then came the light, blinding and pure and hot, so very hot, enough to set my soul aflame. I basked in the afterglow, until the void yawned once more. And then I knew the muck would never claim me again. There was naught for me ahead, so I drew the curtain on all that had come before. Burn, burn, let the whole star burn. I will have my contest. I will reclaim my moment.
How wonderful that the emptiness of death has not dissuaded you from committing your life to its pursuit once more. I don't know whether to envy you or pity you.
You question my disinterest, but what of yours? Despite your noisome antics, I sense you take little pleasure in this endeavor.
Mercy, my lord. Such pointed barbs from one who barely acknowledges my existence. Nevertheless, you are mistaken. For I do find this part somewhat enjoyable. You see, when I was mortal, I would always have the same dream. It was a fragmented thing, disjointed, all the faces incomplete. The setting, too, was unknown to me, so I thought it simply a fantasy of my sleeping mind. Until one day, I realized it was showing me the truth, much as your dream of the final days enlightened you. And soon, very soon, the rest of the world will see the truth of my dream, too. Yes, I think that is something we can both enjoy.
Ding! Hat Wings of Hope. Oh my god. Oh, there you are. Feeling refreshed, I hope. I was about to make my way to the studium. As it happens, I wanted to try and speak with Scholar Monteshine and thank him for coming to rescue Rostra. As it turns out, he'd come to see us following the hearing, only to find that we'd already departed for Thavanair. Knowing him, he was probably hoping to chew the cud with the summer students. Since we're waiting for each other and the others, I thought now the perfect time to pay him a visit. Care to join me? And then it's settled. The twins will be coming too, assuming Alfino can tear himself away from his new toys. I'll let you rally the troops while I go ahead to the phenomenon. Considering my recent impropriety, perhaps I should avoid showing my face at the studium for a time. That might be for the best. If the others should return, tell them we will not be long. But yeah, so that previous cutscene is so good in terms of just animation quality. The fact that they can take bites out of burgers is more insane than you'd think. Because up until that point, basically, the game engine was not capable of replacing models mid-cutscene in the exact position. Maybe they even didn't. Maybe they just stuck together the burger parts, like, on the burger. They had, like, 3 burger parts moving in unison, and then just vanished one of them when he took a bite. Who knows? Who knows how that burger works? They're probably inspected with some illegal tools, but Huh? Heading out for a stroll. The Scarlock himself is here. In that case, what are we waiting for? Too eager to see him, though somewhat dread the thought of visiting the stadium. I dare say, notoriety precedes us. Alfino of all people worrying over his reputation. And at our alma mater, no less. Will wonders never cease. You understand soon enough. Off we go. Curious. Phenomenal. Well, I expect you made note of it before. One can hardly miss it. This is the first time you've been here on official business. While most of the space is taken up at the expensive auditoriums, it houses numerous laboratories, testing grounds for experimental medics, and a host of administrative offices and so forth. As the center of what could later become the stadium, it was established to promote the study of meteorological phenomena, hence the name. Though with the ether being a fundamental aspect of nature, its scope expanded to include every conceivable facet of life, even the universe itself. And then, in the 432nd year of the 6th astral era, phenomenon was decreed complete, as the stadium officially opened as a place of learning. With a long and storied history, it is without question the world's leading authority in meteorology, the arcane, the occult, astromancy, and countless other fields, standing proud as Shallian's foremost educational institute. We always did enjoy giving the grand tour to new students. Indeed, I've long lost track of how many times he's recited that same foolish, foppish speech, such as his undying love for this old stamping ground. He was in top form back then, youngest to enter the stadium, graduated with highest honors in magical arts and meteorology. Undisputed champion of the debating chamber. Hold on, you both joined the stadium at the same age, yes? And from where I stand, you're equally prodigious scholars. Nice of you to say, but Alfino actually entered half a year before me, nor did I do well enough to graduate with honors, and I'm certainly not the stadium's most notorious master debater. In all respects, have I ever been in the shadow? If nothing else, just remember that this was where the legend of Alfino Levelia began. We should expect everyone to be fully aware of our recent escapades. Hopefully we'll be somewhat welcome here now that we are the last strand. I know better than anyone the adoration the student body has for Alfino. With a bit of luck, it might work to our advantage. But there's no time like the present. First things first, let's look to Scarlock Montaigne. Other faculty tend to frequent their offices, but unfortunately for us, he's fond of wandering wheresoever his whim takes him. Let's split up and ask the students if they've seen him. That was Alfin Olivia, wasn't it? The Alfin Olivia! And he's with his sister, Master Baldassian's granddaughter. This could only mean one thing. An event of epoch-shattering proportions is fast approaching. Spread the word! Oh, no, sorry. You said you were looking for the skull, I guess. Knowing him, he could be anywhere, but Mr. Aliappa should have a better idea. Hello. Are you lost? Wandering off the street. Wait, don't tell me. You're the trainee gleaner fish, fresh off the grilled ship. I'm right, aren't I? Oh, how silly of me. An orientation is in order. Allow me to bid you a warm welcome to the Searcher's Meet. So let me start with a question. What's the most important thing you'll find in the studium? That's right, books. Oh, what's the second most important? What? That's simple. Everything else. That's why we deal, what we deal here in Searcher's Meet. Whenever the students or tutors find themselves in need of equipment or materials, they come to us. If we don't have it in the stores, we send the cleaners off to find it. Yes. Obviously. But we won't. Because I can't do it. Honestly, you wouldn't believe some of the requests we get. Eyes of Paisa, this tongue of giant toad that. It's enough to make your hair stand on end, which is possibly what some of its students are trying to accomplish, this being a school of magic and all. As a news cleaner, you'll have to your work cut out for you, but I think you'll find it quite rewarding. The only thing I'm interested in gleaning is information on the Skolok's whereabouts. What, beg your pardon? You're not a gleaner. This was all an elaborate ruse? No, wait, come to think of it, you never actually claimed to be one in the first place. My mistake. He was here, but now he's not. I did speak with him shortly before you arrived, though. He said he was on his way to make us meet. Go back the way you came in, and you'll see the opposite side of the entrance. It's a laboratory of sorts. Home to many rare, expensive curios. Not to mention alarmingly frequent accidents. If you lose your way, just follow the blood-curdling screams. In the time it's taken me to tell you all of this, the Skolok has probably already left. Best of luck finding him. I have a feeling you'll need it. Yes, the Skolok was here a short while ago. He offered me advice on my current research project. Though we spoke at length, I don't really recall him mentioning where I was planning to go next. When we parted ways, he went down the corridor. Perhaps to one of the auditoriums. Oh look, it's YouTube! Montesane! My god! Yeah! Hello.
Ah, I remember you.
And I remember you!
I pray we have not caught you at an inopportune moment. We wanted to offer our thanks for your kind words in the forum.
Well, I could hardly let that inquisition go unchallenged. I've always believed that curiosity should be nurtured, not stifled. Thankfully, a majority of my colleagues agreed. A slender majority, aye,
but a majority nonetheless.
Had the vote not gone our way, we would be having a very different conversation, if any at all. Though I'd like to think you would have not given up on our cause. I'm told you paid a visit to the annex afterwards.
Yes, that's right. I was hoping to speak with the grandchildren of my dearly departed friends Galuf and Louisoix in a less dour setting. But it seems I just missed you. I still can't believe how much you've grown. If only your grandsires could have seen the way you presented yourselves to the Forum. Why, it fair brought a tear to my own eye. You must have the patience of a saint, putting up with this lot and their antics. Never mind Matoya's prize student. Luckily, I know a thing or two about managing unruly younglings. If you ever need advice, don't hesitate to ask.
If I may, there is a rather more pressing matter we wish to discuss. What can you tell us of this duty that the Forum must fulfill?
Nothing, I'm afraid. Like all humble servants of the Forum, I am sworn to secrecy. Or rather, I couldn't tell you if I tried. Our duty is of the gravest importance. Furthermore, if the particulars were made public, it would incite widespread panic. As such, those entrusted with this duty have been bound by an enchantment, which prevents us from speaking of such matters without the express permission of the Forum.
How is that even possible?
It's been some time since I last gave a lecture. Please, take a seat.
Let's go!
We shall begin by reviewing the fundamentals of etherology. The ether, which imbues us with life, can be categorized into three forms. Two are of the incorporeal sort, the soul and the memory. Can anyone tell me the third?
Corporeal.
Yes, very good. This is the form with which the layman is most familiar. Consumed by even the simplest of daily activities, and replenished by the food and drink that sustain us, this form of ether is in constant flux. In contrast, the ether that comprises the soul is rarely subject to dramatic change. The same can be said for memory, as the two are intrinsically linked. Picture the soul as paper, and memories as words written upon it. Now, what would happen if that paper was doused with ink? The same type of ether as comprises the memories.
It would blot out everything that was written.
Precisely. we would be unable to recall the memories, and any activities that depend upon them would be hindered as well. In fact, this exact phenomenon was observed on a vast scale not so long ago. And what might that have been?
The Calamity.
The 7th Umbral Calamity. The people of Eorzea vividly recall Bahamut breaking free of the Lesser Moon and raining hellfire down upon the realm. But no one could seem to remember the events that followed immediately afterwards.
Indeed. To this day, we have yet to determine whether it was an unintended consequence or a deliberate act. The enchantment which binds me and the rest of the Forum is based on a similar principle. And yes, it is a contravention of the Sharlayan prohibition against the practice of memory manipulation. Only when a new member is inducted and told of our great duty are they subjected to the process. A necessary evil. You have my word that it would never be used to manipulate the populace?
I should hope not. But can this enchantment be dispelled and your memories restored?
If 9/10 of our members give their approval, then the process may be reversed. Then, and only then, would we be able to speak freely to others of our sacred duty. Barring that, we must wait until we return to the ethereal sea. For there we will be purified, the blots upon our souls washed clean. And our memories drift apart and dissolve, rather defeating the purpose, I suppose. But there are those memories that are indelibly etched upon our souls, some believe.
What happens after that?
We are reduced to pure ether, coalesce with that of others, and create souls anew. Alternative schools of thought assert souls remain whole and return to the corporeal world, reborn into another form. Both theories have their proponents. Personally, I consider each equally probable.
I mean, we have some personal experience.
Well, I think that's enough education for today, now that I've given you some food for thought. Or rather, an entire banquet.
It's so funny.
I would remind you that although I'm unable to assist you with certain matters, the resources at my disposal may still be of use to you. I'll arrange for you all to be given the run of Phenomenon. Of course, as associate to our alumni and the students of Baldessian, this privilege is extended to you as well, my friend. Oh, and I suggest you speak with Ki Aliapo. She's well known among the artisans of Sharlayan, and her network of contacts may prove useful in your search for knowledge. I wish you all the best in your pursuits, wheresoever they may take you.
I still can't tell if this is a retcon. Because if it is a retcon, it is the most well-executed retcon in the history of retcons. Well, that's given me much to mull over. I feel as though we're one step closer to understanding the forum's true motives. The mysteries of life itself, for good measure. I feel funny. I came here with the intent of expressing my gratitude, until even more indebted than before. I have a feeling this friendship and support will be a great boon to us in days to come. And on that note, let's head back to the annex. Perhaps on the way, you could better acquaint yourself with Ki Aliepo, the scholar suggested. While I share our findings with Ra. No! I cannot! Oh, whoops. I need to go in here. Whoopsie. Oh, I can't wait for the next part. Do you realize what time it will be soon? Let me just say 3 words. This is Thancred. Soon. Very soon. Welcome back. From what I hear, your trip to study proved most educational. While you were away, I received word from a fellow science. As expected, news of the warding scales was met with much joy. Preparations are now underway to bring the leadership of the Grand Company of Eorzea and the Eastern Alliance together to determine the way forward. Our friends have asked that we bring the scales in opposition to Limsa. So the time has come for us to go to the offensive. It's too early to say for certain, but that does seem to be the way the winds are blowing. I, for one, can think of no reason to oppose such a plan. But let us see what awaits us in Vilbrand. Let's start by getting the scales out of storage. Give me a hand, would you, Estinian? Seriously. I didn't realize these crates were so heavy. I shouldn't complain though. Peter and the alchemists have a great work, but their heart and soul into each and every one of these scales. So you must treat them with the utmost care. Are you not coming with us? As much as I would like to escape the forum's watchful gaze, I have little choice but to stay behind. We are already on thin ice, and if I, in my capacity as an official representative, am found to be consulting with foreign powers, well, you can imagine how that would go. I shall remain here and do my utmost to avoid ruffling any more feathers as I await word from Master Matoya and our other allies. With luck, we'll soon have good news of our own to share. The tide is about to turn. I can feel it. Tulim Salaminsa. So, obviously, you have to assume that a good 30 to 50% of the books available to the general public would contain things we already know. Which is why you can't read them. Because this is a game and giving the player information twice is really bad. Don't do it. And then, of the other stuff in there, I gather that everything they could feasibly put in the upper levels that is not already in the lore books you can literally buy is probably just really boring, like, scientific dissertations about, I don't know, crystal formation. And trust me, as someone who has written a dissertation, reading dissertations is probably the most boring thing you can do with your life. You have to realize, I have a bachelor's. I had to write an academic dissertation about the project I developed. That's not a good read. I'm very familiar with the world of academics, as I am one. Especially like etherological dissertations on the topic of crystal growth would probably be like 700 pages of math. And the problem with scientific dissertations is that they require a knowledge of the topic. And usually more knowledge the higher up in the hierarchy of academics you get in terms of who wrote it. Like, a master thesis you can feasibly read without having to understand too much of it. A bachelor's thesis, definitely. A doctorate thesis, no. There's no way you can read that with a, like, layman's understanding of the topic. Believe me, I've tried. It was not good. I've read for my bachelor's thesis a doctorate thesis about plane tiling, the process of filling a plane in terms of a even infinite surface with tiles. And there is actually, interestingly, methods of tiling a plane with a non-repeating infinite pattern with no gaps. There's a few of these. They get progressively harder to understand. But yes, I could go into the details of like what the tiling method is, how it works, why it is infinite and non-repeating with no gaps, like provably. That is mathematically provable, that it is infinite, non-periodical, and has no gaps with a rule set. The first tiling method that was discovered that fills all these criteria actually had about 200 something tiles. The smallest tile set you can get for an infinitely tiled world kind of Actually, only 7. Also, it is very important that the tiles must not be rotated, mirrored, or flipped when you tile the plane with them. And if you allow non-square tiles, actually you can tile a plane non-periodically with 2 tiles. Just 2 of them. They're just really odd shapes. But that is called a Penrose tiling, if I remember correctly. With only 2 shapes. But those are allowed to be rotated. And, like, moved around. But there is a way to tile an infinite plane non-periodically with no gaps, using only 2 really oddly shaped tiles. Anyway, yes. The problem with academic dissertations is that they are very dry reads. And unless you are, like, actually trying to get into the topic to write your own academic paper or implement the algorithm in the paper or something like that, like you're trying to actively get something out of it, it's not a good read. It is very boring. Like, it goes nowhere, has no implications. Other than just, this is what it is, we figured this out. I guess chemistry papers might be interesting, depending on the topic. It was told to expect you. As you may or may not be aware, the Admiral is at present attending the Elder Sitsi and the Sultana. 3 of the most powerful women in the world in one room. Do you need a moment to prepare? Shall I show you to them? I'm not scared of them. They're cute. My apologies for calling you away from Shardian at such short notice. On the contrary, we are honored and grateful. I'm pleasantly surprised to be joined by such esteemed company. It was only right that this discussion be conducted in person. We are locked in a war of attrition. Our forces struggle to contain the threat posed by the towers. It is only a matter of time before we are overwhelmed. Victory will only be claimed through decisive action, and we have taken the initiative to set the wheels in motion. It is reassuring to learn that we are all in accord. But might I ask what your plans entail? It hinders entirely on the warding skills and our ability to utilize their potential to the fullest. During that time in Sharlian, the allied nations have been engaged on separate fronts, with no end in sight. To make matters worse, a surge in abductions of kobolds, Sahagin, Ixal, and Ananta have given rise to increasing number of primals as well. But your triumph in Radzatan has given us cause to hope once more. The time has come to free ourselves of this menace. And it is you, the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, who have shown us the way. While the bulk of our forces will continue to hold the Telophoroi at bay, we will dispatch our finest to strike at the enemy's heart, Garlemald. These brave few will be the Ilsa-Bard contingent. To think such progress has been made in such short span. Its objectives are twofold. The first is to provide aid to the people of Garlemald. As previously reported, Countess Imperial soldiers and civilians have been tempered. Robbed of their free will, they serve the Telophoroi's every whim without question. They too are victims. It is our duty to deliver them from their suffering. Not for strategic or political gain, but because it is the right thing to do. I do not ask that we set aside the decades of conflict and conquest, that we simply choose to forgive and forget. I asked only that in choosing to remember, we do not also forsake our compassion and morality. For without that, there can be no reconciliation, only death without end. On that we all agree. Our second objective is the colossal tower that Thancred and Urianger observed in the capital. Though its purpose remains unclear, there's reason to believe the smaller spires are merely a precursor of what's yet to come. Until the Tower of Zod was toppled, we failed to make any headway. The same could be said for the Telophoroi. They are certainly in no rush to press further into our lands. I'd wager the spies' primary purpose is to divide and keep us occupied, where they work towards our annihilation. This would appear to be substantiated by Yashtola's analysis of the tower's influence and ethereal currents. Based on her observation, inside the Tower of Zod, the spies siphon ether from the land, consuming it to maintain the form. However, they draw forth far more than is required for this task alone. The excess of ether remains unaccounted for, but we can be sure it is not being harnessed for our benefit. It wouldn't surprise me the least if it was being redirected to the largest spire in the capital. There's a logic in that. Regardless, once we have uncovered the truth, we'll bring their schemes crashing down, along with their infernal towers. That's all well and good. But what would you have us do? I assume it's more than handing over the scales and being on our way. You want your scales to join the Ilsabard contingent. I can't read. Considering it an official request from both the Grand Company of Eorzea and the Eastern Alliance, do you accept? Perhaps you should be the one to answer that. I guess for the people of Garlemald. Couldn't have put it better myself. Yashtola's, Thancred and Urianger have already pledged their support. They're on their way to meet the rest of the contingent. They were positive you would come to the same decision as they did. Luckily for all involved, the prediction was correct. Once you have delivered the warding skills to Alamigo, the contingent will embark on its journey to Ulsabard. Rawbud and Lord Emmerich are overseeing preparations, so I suggest you make yourselves known upon arrival. Oh, this song is so good. Pick warm clothing, furs and the like. Without it, the cold will do you in before the Telophoroi so much as draw steel. As for us, we'll keep the enemy busy while you're gone. They're not the only ones who can create a diversion. Now go. Saving the knowledge of Eorzea will be as you left it, or better, upon your return. Al amigo! I love this expansion just for the everyone is here that they have going on in it. This expansion feels so much like a victory lap. It's so good. Ah, the Wanderers return. You've been busy bringing down a tower and producing the keys to destroying the rest of them. You should be proud. Those warding scales of yours are what's made this whole venture possible. I don't know what his voice sounds like anymore, it's been too long. Will you and Lord Emmerich be leading the contingent? Regrettably, no. Our role is to organize the various delegations into a cohesive unit. Once we've seen you all off, it's back to our respective posts. We dare not neglect our duties for too long, lest our defensive efforts fall into disarray. And just between us, there's a fair amount of opposition to the formation of the Ilsabat Corps contingent. The very suggestion that we send out some of our finest troops beyond enemy lines is to render aid to the Garleans has made me rather unpopular in certain quarters. Can't please them all. Certainly not, though I do my best. Truth be told, I'd much rather be at your side, charging the fray. Alas, I've battles of my own to fight, where words may serve me better than any blade. I hate to say it, but Lord Emmerich's struggles mirror my own. For the time being, the best we can offer you is the peace of mind from knowing Eosia's in safe hands. As you fight the good fight in Ursabat, I and the other commanders will do what we can to convince the naysayers that our cause is just. Thank you, both of you. We meet again? We meet again. Word of your exploits travels quickly. From what I gather, the protective talismans you obtained led to the formation of this expeditionary force. My contribution on this occasion is but a minor one, that being the information I've shared with Maxima. For the sake of the people of Garlemald, may the fates be on your side. So you're not coming with us? Strange, I thought you'd have a stake in this. Do, the Telophoroi laid waste to my homeland and enslaved my people. Though every mode of my being cries for vengeance, I cannot be the one to deliver it. My presence alone would place the entire mission in jeopardy. I stand accused of murdering Emperor Varys and plunging Garlemald into chaos. Were I to travel with the Ilsabat contingent, it would give my countrymen ample cause to question our motives. Conversely, those who believe me innocent may instead celebrate the return of a former legatus, and attempt to raise me to a position of leadership, further destabilizing the region and complicating the contingent's mission. Whether I am branded a villain or hailed as a hero, it would only hinder your efforts. We will deliver your people from harm in your stead. For what it's worth, you have my gratitude. You and your comrades have the strength and courage to deliver my countrymen. I'm certain of it. In light of Guy's rather unique circumstances, I instead would assume the role of your guide. Though I may have defected for political reasons, my love for Garlemald endures. I would stop at nothing to protect her and her people. Well said. Might I ask you to escort our friends inside? You might even bump into an old acquaintance or two. If I don't see you again as you depart, may the Fury guide and protect you. All of you. The other members of the Ilsabat contingent are gathered at the Royal Palace. I shall inform them of your arrival, so please make your way inside as soon as you're ready. Man! I hate having to read so many characters. It's the worst. It literally sucks. Fucking dumb, stupid shit. Yeah. Just let me in already.
By the 12.
Everyone is here.
Glad you could join us. I hope you don't mind, but we went ahead and started without you.
As you can imagine, our traveling companions were eager to become acquainted. 'Tis a rare thing indeed to see such a diverse and talented group of individuals assembled for a single purpose. We fight not only for the sake of Eorzea, but for the entire world, including the people of Garlemald. Much rides on the efforts of the Ilsabard contingent.
Indeed, which is why I am glad to find myself in the company of many trusted comrades, yourselves included.
Lucia!
It's so good to
I have
see
come
her.
at the behest of Lord Emmerich, who has honored me with the role of Ishgard's representative. And for the good of all nations, not least my former homeland, I am determined to see this mission through to its end. We have a hard road ahead of us, but walk it we shall, together.
We too welcome this opportunity to work together once more. I have faith that, if there is a way to resolve this conflict, we will find it.
Allow me to introduce you to the rest of our company. Everyone! If I may have your attention. Might I ask you to speak first?
If I must. I am Arun Senna, spokesman for the Gridanian delegation. Here on behalf of my esteemed sister, the Elder Seedseer. We shall provide support and protection to those in need during our time in Garlemald. To that end, I am joined by healers selected by the Conjurers Guild, with the Order of the Twin Adder's Finest serving as our escort.
Suppose I'd better say my piece.
Sickhead, you piece of shit.
Wait, I know you.
The name's Sicard, in case you've forgotten. Truth be told, I'd rather you had forgotten. Any road, the Admiral asked Captain Hilfear to send his best, and for whatever reason, he picked me. Of course, if I'd refused, I'd be the laughingstock of the bloody executioners, and my reputation's taken enough of a keyhauling as it is. But more importantly, like any pirate worth his salt, I know when you're staring down a storm, you gotta trust in the commander of your ship. So if the Admiral wants us to go to Garlemald, not for plunder and glory, but the promise of peace in our time, then that's what we'll do.
Well said.
Since we all know how much the Empire loves its steel, we thought we'd bring along a few smiths to make the most of it. Give them a pile of scrap and they'll cobble together anything you fancy. Of course, just like the Gridanians, we got fighters of our own. We might have come with a more constructive purpose in mind, but we're more than capable of cracking skulls, believe you me.
Yes.
Well, you're certainly raring to go. But then again, so are we. The most dependable warriors of Uldar and Alamigo have assembled at the Sultana and General Aldin's behest. If Garlemald has truly fallen, then the whole place is likely to be crawling with Telophoroi. We'll need plenty of troops to clear and hold a path for others to follow. That's where we come in. Naturally, Marshal Tarapin and I will be leading from the front.
It's been some time since I last saw you in your element on the battlefield.
From what I've heard, you've become pretty fearsome yourself. Master Matoya, the avatar of destruction.
Who told?
With On raids like these, I know we'll succeed, no matter what awaits us. And then we might finally get a chance to enjoy a good long rest. But until then, let's give it our all.
As for Ishgard, we Temple Knights have come in force to uphold our nation's commitment to the peace and welfare of our allies. The bitter cold of Garlemald is a formidable enemy in of itself. Our experience fighting in ice and snow will prove invaluable in the days ahead. Accordingly, I have been designated commander of the Ilzabard contingent. I will do all in my power to provide you with the leadership and guidance you require.
Yes.
The four high houses, House Hylinart foremost among them, have arranged for a host of machinists to join us on our mission.
Oh.
Their knowledge of Imperial Magitech is sure to be a great boon. They will address any problems of a technical nature, together with the smiths of Limpsa Lomitsa. There is another awaiting introduction.
He's here!
Lord Emanolaine!
What are you doing here?
Ah, yes. Emanolaine de Forton, at your service. Though, lest there be any misunderstanding, I should stress that I've not become a fearsome warrior while you were away. Rather, far from it, actually. My brother, in his infinite wisdom, decided this would be an excellent chance to make something of myself. Oh, and fight for world peace and all that. But, should the opportunity arise for a spot of ballroom dancing, I will be your twinkle-toed gentleman of light.
May a graceful prancing lead the way to victory. I love it, like, why is he here? And he's like, I don't know.
Huzzah! I cannot wait to regale Honoroa with my tales of daring-do.
I believe that concludes introductions for the Grand Company of Eorzea. Our allies from the Eastern Alliance were due to arrive some time ago, but it would appear they have been delayed.
Nah, they just want to give him an entrance.
Would that be the shinobi of Doma?
Actually, they've been tasked with relaying messages back and forth between the various Eastern nations. According to Lord Hien, however, an equally capable company of warriors has been sent in their stead.
Out of my way, you preening fool!
Ah, the best characters. Ah.
Forgive us for coming late. We are the delegates of the Eastern Alliance.
Cyrena, and you've brought company.
For battle and blood we come, as the steppe is sorely lacking in both. No towers befoul our lands, so we marched on those of Doma, only to find them beyond our reach. But now our thirst for slaughter will be slaked. No quarter to the enemy! Sadu Hatun, no. We go to make peace with the Iron Men, not war.
Warriors of the Steppe, we've heard many tales of your bravery. We welcome you as allies. And these other ones you have brought are...
Members of the Dalmascan resistance group, Lente's Tears.
And the Bosnian resistance. Between them, they have a wealth of experience in espionage, and are particularly adept at infiltrating Imperial facilities. Which is fortuitous, since Garlemald's domain is so vast that I could never hope to handle reconnaissance duties all by myself.
Dalmasca, Bosnia, Alamiga. All lands which have suffered the tyranny of the Empire. I would never presume to question your motives. Nevertheless, I must reiterate that our goal is to aid the victims of the Telophoroi, the common folk of Garlemald. And they are victims, make no mistake, though I understand that many may struggle to see them as such.
You're more right than you know. For every one of us that answered the call, there were a dozen that refused. Not only in Alamigo, but everywhere we went. And who could blame them? The Empire's always been the enemy. But after seeing what we've seen, fighting and working against and with Garleans, there's no denying the simple truth. They're just people. No different from you or I. They've got their share of liars and murderers, but so do we. So do we all. Fordola, who once swore herself to Garlemald, has proven herself a trusted ally time and time again. Every Eorzean here knows Cid Garland, the Imperial defector who shared with us countless technological wonders. Maxima, who stands with us today, tried to reform Garlemald from within and make peace with Doma. So you can believe me when I say that every fighter here understands and accepts that the Imperials are not monsters and are deserving of help. Or at least that they were able to put aside their feelings for the greater good. It won't be easy, but we're all determined to make this world a better place.
What lingering concerns I may have had were clearly unwarranted. I agree with everything you said wholeheartedly.
Then we are in accord. Now, let us review our strategy. To reach the Garlean capital in northern Ilsabard, we must cross the central mountain range. Fortunately, Garlund Ironworks can provide aerial transport, sparing us this most treacherous part of our journey. However, attempting to fly any closer to Garlemald would attract the attention of the Telophoroi. As they appear to have seized control of the majority of the Imperial military, we must assume that includes its fleet. In addition, Garlemald possesses devices that can interfere with airship navigational systems, further discouraging an airborne approach.
Given the circumstances, the closest we dare deploy our contingent is an area between the range and the capital, the Magna Glaciers. From there, we must travel the rest of the way on foot. We will also need to bring the airships with us to ensure we can withdraw with haste. Although much of the terrain will be blanketed in snow, we should be able to make use of local roads and shipping facilities. The vast ice field will afford us an unobstructed view of the surrounding area. On the other hand, it will also allow others to easily spot us, so it is imperative that we only make camp in positions where we can easily defend ourselves. And the airships, which must be kept safe at all costs.
We cannot account for every possibility, so we must be prepared to think on our feet. We will be tested. Sorely tested, I expect. But for our homes and for our people, and a people not our own but in need, we will succeed. Spare no effort in your preparations. Once we depart, there is no turning back.
So many people. Everyone is here. Oh no. I'm glad to see you well. Grandfather was right for you. The night I agreed to come hither and join the contingent, the gods sent her a strange dream. 2 suns, one burning red, the other frozen black. Close they circled, closer and closer. As they danced, the world fell into ruin. In blinding chaos, she spied blackened silhouettes, and knew at once that one was yours. yet we knew not how to interpret this dream, save as a sign that a greater danger awaits. But whatever lies ahead, I will walk with you, traveler. I care not for the Iron Man and the troubles. It is the destiny of the weak to die in ignominy. Even so, I will do as I've agreed. I volunteer to join this band at Serena's request. And if she thinks it's a worthy cause, that is reason enough. Though we hail from different tribes, our bonds have grown strong of late. She is much better company in the hunt than any of the steppes oafish men could dream to be. Gay? This is extraordinary. To be in such company, the finest of allies to offer. With comrades such as these, we're bound to succeed. I'm certain of him. Raha over here just fanboying again. Love it. So Lucia's the commander. Regardless of her background, she's a Templar Knight, through and through. I dare say her Garlean roots are all the more reason for her to lead this mission. With so many people from so many places, I'm rather out of my element. Regardless, I'm a Seedseer. I will endeavor to acquit myself accordingly. That is trans pride. We've been part of joint military operations like this before, and with far greater numbers, but for some reason, this feels very different to our previous experiences. Despite having shared little more than introductions, there's already a palpable sense of camaraderie. I was half expecting to find a man who taught me red magic amongst our number, but he's nowhere to be seen. I suppose he's had a share of unpleasant experience with the Empire, but so have we all. Perhaps there's some other reason. Well, in any case, I have a feeling I'll see him again once it's over. I'm sure you'll be pleasantly surprised by how much my swordplay improved since we last met. Blessed are we to have made countless steadfast allies. Our journey's calls. Indeed, we are joined today by many new acquaintances, who in time shall we come to call our comrades and mayhap friends. I have close ties with the scouts of the Eastern Alliance and the various resistance groups, and they are an absolute joy to work with. Well, well. If I'd known the social gathering this would turn out to be, I'd address for the occasion. Still, this seems the perfect opportunity to mingle with the other guests. Would I be correct in assuming this ladies over yonder is Serena and Sado of the Steppe? Perhaps I should introduce myself, though I don't much like the look of the fellow in the enormous axe. But Magnai? Nah, he's fine. I'll cast my lot with the Popularis to bridge the divide between Garlemald and her territories. That all may be united in common cause, but we are disparaged as a radical element. Dissentists looking to destabilize the Empire from within. Many friends and even my parents perished in the unfortunate accidents. I too would surely have met the same fate had I not affected. Nevertheless, I still dream of equality and peace for us all. As the world itself stands on the brink of collapse, I hold out hope that one day the dream will become reality. Until the Empire fell, Garleans were the only ones who were allowed to impose tariffs upon sea. They weren't easy pickings, but I made myself a pretty girl. Since they've been so generous to me and mine, perhaps it's time I returned the favor and gave them a little something back. Often has father told me the struggles faced by Alamigo in the days of the occupation, and I too have crossed swords with the Empire on many occasions. Though Garlemald has long been our bitter enemy, her grace has elected to bolster the Ilsabat contingent with members of the Immortal Flames. As representatives of the Sultanate, we are one in our commitment to the cause. It seems so long we are sailing across the Ruby Sea and charging about the Azim Steppe with Sirin and the others. I'd say we're overdue for another adventure. It brings back memories to see so many familiar faces. We've been through so much together. Good times and not so good. I expect Garlemald will be mostly the latter, but I'd like to believe we look back to these days more fondly the years to come. But for that to happen, we'll have to make it out of this alive. Don't you die in the eye?
We
came as quickly as we could. We would follow your example and devastate the Telophoroi with the full extent of our powers. Worry not for your brothers. Boosie, we will return soon enough. Ah, the Black Mages, they are here. Well, the Thaumaturges. The Black Mages, not here. They are busy, I assume. Beside the delegates assembled here, the Amodar and several other tribes offered to send troops of their own. Unfortunately, due to their physiology, many would struggle simply to survive the harsh climate of Ulsabad. They would also likely prove tempting targets for adoption by the Telophoroi. All things considered, they can better aid the cause by bolstering our defenses in Eorzea, though their eagerness to do more has been noted. We few shall have to suffice. Ere we embark, we must distribute the warding scales to our comrades. Dare to do the honors? We heard it would be cold in Garlemald, so we came prepared. There you go. Oh, the talismans! We had to keep these close at all times, yes? I will see that no one misplaces theirs. And before I forget, I have a message from Hien. In distant lands and times of strife, together stand, together fight. In the darkness shines the light of life. I hope I've done his words justice. Doma, much like Othard, has been plagued by the towers. Yet while we could not be here, he wished to express his shared conviction. He and Yukidi labor without rest to unite the people. With their aid, will we keep the enemies at bay. And we of the Steppe and Eastern Alliance will repay their efforts by ending this war. Yes. So these are the famed warding scales. Enough for me and my men, I see. Under normal circumstances, I would not allow the travelers out them themselves with. The other Seatsia, however, has granted me special permissions. She has bid me lend my magics to the people of Garlemald while learning all I can of their ways. In so doing, I will come closer to understanding myself and my place in the world. Or so she says. I say this past time our allies benefited from the power of a Seatsia's disposal. Some bemoan that we hide our light under a bushel, and I intend to address that criticism. Ah, them skulls everyone's been talking about. Pretty little things, ain't they? I reckon they'll be worth a gill or two when it's all over, but we'll hold on to them for now. And one more thing, I know what you're thinking. Why didn't they send Ainza instead? Pocket if I know. Oh, the Admiral, the Captain Hulford told me that they needed someone to help safeguard the future. And here I am. Can't say they haven't got a sense of humor. Cause some of you might be wondering what good a pirate is on dry land. In the middle of the sodding snow of all places. Well, me and me crew will do whatever dates are doing. So let's set sail. Oh, however we say it goes on our ships. I love them. Da 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 da. Many thanks. These talismans may prove to be the deciding factor in the battles to come. I find myself conflicted by this foray into Garlemald. Sent by the Empire to infiltrate Ishgard, only to throw in my lot with those whose secrets I was supposed to be stealing. Now I need a mission to save my countrymen I betrayed. That is doubtless why I was chosen by Lord Emmerich. He would have me put my extensive knowledge and former ties to good use. I will not disappoint him. For the future of Ishgard, Garlemald and the world at large, I will lead us to victory. Wow, look at these! Even a layman like me can tell they are bursting with ether. All the better to fend off the tempering waves. Is that the right aim? Anyway, this will give us one less thing to worry about. Which just leaves the other mountain of whatever else is waiting for us in Garlemald. Only one way to find out, eh? And nervous or not. I'd march through all 7 hells if it gave me a chance to put Xenos back in the grave where he belongs. Thank you for this, and for going to such incredible lengths for the sake of my people. Though I have little to offer in return, I would impart some advice, if I may. You have been told by many to wear the cold of Ulsabad. and I cannot stress enough that this is no token warming. I will be distributing specially made warming tinctures, courtesy of the Alchemist's Guild, but understand that they are no substitute for proper protection. Leave the provisioning of said protection to your discretion. Now let us proceed to the uneven quarter. While you make your final preparations, I will have the pilots ready the airships. Mocha! Bokeh. Alphino! Woo! This is our last chance to make ready before we set forth. You needn't worry about Oriente and I. We still have what we wore in Garlemald before. Estinian claims to be quite warm and toasty beneath his armor, and since he spent a fair bit of time up north recently as well, I've no reason to doubt his words. Most of the others will be borrowing Grand Company stock. The rest of you could do likewise, I suppose, provided you're not overly concerned with style. Not to put too fine a point in it, but I wouldn't be seen dead in one of those ridiculous overcoats. If I only had time to find something to my liking. Is that the cry of a sign in need of a tailor, I hear? The slide in. How? I have my ways. Oh yes, indeed. You thought you could sneak off to Ilsabat without telling me. Ah, nothing escapes my notice. Now you will wear these garments I've made, whether you like it or not. Oh no. Nah, she already has her measurements. It's fine. You never cease to amaze. But why do you need new outfits as well? Wait, are you coming with us? What? No, of course not, silly. It's all in the name of fashion. Rather, the pursuit of the highest quality fashion. Besides, how can I expect others to wear my clothes if I've never worn them myself? I did have one thing to share. Agnes and Bnnuy have finally returned to the assignment of faraway lands. They'll be staying at the Rising Stones for a while, to keep an eye on events throughout Eorzea. Since they'll be running things back in the headquarters, I was wondering if I could lend a hand in Sharlayan. Oh, why not? You can keep crowd company in the Baldesion Annex. Yes, we'd love to have you there. And I heard Elmgus and Bnnuy did a fine job carrying on in our stead, while we were laying comatose. With them in charge of the Rising Stones, we've nothing to worry about. My thoughts exactly. Also, I'm confident you won't go collapsing again, because a certain someone who shall remain nameless isn't in a position to transport your souls into another world. Oof! If anything similarly disastrous were to happen, I'd be well positioned to do something about it. Anyway, I've got a few things to take care of, and then I'll make my way to Sharlayan. I really do hope these new clothes are enough to keep you warm in Garlemald. It's not much, but it's the only thing I can do for you, other than pray for your safe return, which I will, every day. Let's not keep the contingent waiting any longer. Slap. Where are your winter woolies, handcrafted by yours truly? Here, not where, here. I love Tataru. Second best Lalafell in the game, after Cryo. That is a thick coat, holy shit. I'm told the airship pilot has been sent to meet you. Ah, there he is. Alright, this is where we go to separate ways. Do be careful, won't you? It's time for the last thing we do today, because this takes about an hour to complete, holy shit. It's an honor to finally meet you. We of the Garland Ironworks will be ferrying you and your contingent across the mountains into Garlemald. For many of us, it would be something of a homecoming. Our illustrious founder was the only most notable Imperial defector. For that reason, the company is committed to the success of this expedition. Our resources at your disposal. And if there's aught we might do to be of further assistance, please don't hesitate to ask. If you are ready to depart, we will ready the engines. Upon boarding the airship, several cutscenes will play in sequence. It is recommended that you set aside sufficient time to view these scenes in their entirety. In addition, you will be required to participate in battle. Your progress will be saved at certain points. In the event that you are defeated, you will be able to try again from the most recent of these. Please note that if you enter battle associated with other quests or log out from the game, this progress will be lost. This is so long they had to make a checkpoint system for it. Which is insane. Although I think the last one also had a checkpoint system, the big battle in Cartano. But
Ilsabard,
yeah.
divided in twain by a vast mountain range.
The best bean.
Those who would traverse its jagged peaks face peril at every step. But why go by foot when one can simply fly?
I love whose voice this is. I'm so glad that it's his voice. On
the outskirts of the Imperial capital, in the frozen wastes of the Magna Glacius. The winds howl in icy protest, as if to warn against further trespass.
This is in fact Thancred. Why are you cold? You are from Ishgard. How are you ill prepared, Imanalan? Imanalan? Imanalon.
We've received
Emmy.
word from Thancred's reconnaissance party. They've sighted a detachment of heavily armed Imperials.
Survivors of the Civil War, perhaps?
Perhaps.
Perhaps, but there is more to it than that. Maxima reports that they are led by Vergilia, legatus of the 3rd Legion, which comprises the bulk of their number. However, they are also joined by several members of the 1st.
From what I recall, the 3rd Legion fought for Nerva in the War of Succession following Varus's death. The 1st, on the other hand, were under the direct command of the Emperor and rejected Nerva's claim to the throne. These legions were enemies.
Indeed. In fact, our sources claim that it was a conflict between them that sparked the Civil War. Yet now, these former foes cooperate to defend a ruined Garlemald from invasion.
Then it is all but certain they have been tempered.
So, what's the plan? If me and my crew is out reaving, we charge straight in, no messing about. But that ain't what we're here for.
Quite right. Soldiers or no, they are people of Garlemald. The very ones we have come to aid. Direct confrontation is unavoidable. Nevertheless, we must make every effort to limit casualties on both sides. Rather than kill them, I would remove them from the field.
How so? Savage beatings, disarmament, and imprisonment? Not impossible, but easier said than done in the heat of battle.
Having observed the opposition, I imagine Thancred had something to suggest?
He did. He and the other scouts have already infiltrated a supply depot some distance beyond the Imperial detachment's current position. Stored within is a stockpile of Magitech armaments, and once we give the signal, Thancred's team will destroy them all. In so doing, we will deprive frontline troops of materiel, and likely force the detachment to send men to investigate.
Divide and conquer. Not a bad idea.
Once the scouts have finished their preparations, we will split into 2 groups. The first will form the vanguard, while the other brings up the rear with our supplies. As for the Scions, I ask that you lend your assistance where you deem it needed most. I would prefer, however, that you accompany the rearguard and be prepared to join the van at a moment's notice. Kept in reserve as our trump card, so to speak.
Your proposal was well received. More specifically, they asked that we destroy the Imperial's toys in as spectacular a fashion as possible.
Ishtola always
She
did
looks
have a
so
flair
good
for
in
the
that outfit.
She's not an easy woman to please, but I shall do my best to satisfy her thirst for fireworks. All right. Once more for my peace of mind. Our first objective will be to rig the enemy's Magitech with explosives. After we've withdrawn to a safe distance, we'll detonate them remotely. Our second will be to issue a deactivation command to the automated units via the control terminal. If our calculations are correct, this signal should reach those deployed on the front line, giving our friends a much-needed upper hand. The blizzard will help us stay hidden, so let's aim to get in and out before it passes. Trust in the plan, and we should all live to see tomorrow.
Well, in the meantime, I will relay messages back and forth as the situation unfolds. You'll forgive me if I ask again, but are you certain you wish to play the lone wolf?
Wouldn't have it any other way. Call it foolish and reckless if you like, but I'll get the job done. I always do.
He always does.
Very well. I wish you the best of luck.
Ah, yes. This is Thancred. Okay, okay. Solid barrel combo, Nebula. This is the hidey hole. A bonk. Okay, okay. Nice. Got it. Commence!
Keep your wits about you.
It's time. We only have one shot at this, so let's make it count. Damn, spotted.
Oh, come on. That ran out, really?
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
I forgot the invis has a duration. Well. Whoops. Bonk. Woo. Well, hello. And bonk. Okay. Woo. Sneaky. Okay, okay. Not the easiest. Because there's one Magitech unit here. Two Magitech units even. Which are annoying, but this one's slow at least. So I can go over here. Set this one up. Now it's time.
This is Thancred.
The
explosives are in place.
This is Thancred.
Very good. All is proceeding as planned. Head to the control terminal. It should be to the northwest.
The meme.
Understood. Have the others wait at the rendezvous point.
This is Thancred. Bonk. Get fucked. Da, 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 da. Da.
Damn, spotted.
Yeah. I forgot the bomb also triggers everything around the target. Ah! I forgot. I love that these are basically blind though. That is very helpful. Oh boy. Doesn't help that the invis period is so short though. You get down. Okay, let's turn this off. There it is. And done. Hello. This is Thancred. I love Thancred times, the best part. This mission is so good. Just the sneaking around. I love it.
You are returned, and none the worse for wear, to my considerable relief.
What news from our comrades?
They stand at the ready.
Excellent. Then let the fireworks begin.
Boom, bitch! A few moments later, the rear of the Ilsabat contingent supply caravan.
The blizzard's beginning to clear. The Vanguard should be engaging the Imperials any moment now, if they haven't already. Ishtola and the others are with them, so I'm sure they'll be all right, but... Wait! Something's coming!
Doggers!
Oi, oi! Looks like we ain't the only ones who sent out scouts.
Scout
Keep
door.
them away from the carriages! We lose those, and we're as good as dead!
Alrighty. Murder time. The crab ability will find it yourself.
The others.
F. That dog no longer exists. Bonk. 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 And bonk. We need to kill all of them first. I don't remember how this encounter works. Probably.
A brief respite, but stay alert.
Okay, that is how that encounter works. Forward!
Keep the carriages safe.
Destroy the opposition! Murder!
Impeccable timing!
Hello!
Fear not, friends! The savior of Ishgard is here!
Not just Ishgard, but Badoon. I love that it's Emanuelan the Lofty. It's so funny. Like, he's a very lofty guy. Bong. 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 And dead.
A fine display, but the other carriages are still in danger.
I am
Go
aware.
ahead. We'll hold the line.
Come on, activate the enemies. Let me help. Thank you.
We're the only ones still struggling.
Sure are.
Time we put our backs into it then. I've been itching for a good scrap.
Nice. I love this section so much. It's so good. Boom. Bitch. One. Fuck me, I tapped out. Ah. Fucked up. I fucked up my combo. Oh, let's go! They are actively blocking him! That's so cool! Yo! That's sick! They are blocking the Metatech tank!
We're fine. I'm ready for more.
Good.
Hear
There'll
that?
probably be more.
Get to the front and turn the tide.
Okay, here we go. Woo! Meanwhile, on the front line. Why that song? Why that one? Interesting choice.
Removed from the field was not a euphemism for enthusiastically murder.
It's nothing that won't heal in time. The trouble is, their tempering has made them utterly fearless. Subduing them would be easier if they had the capacity to submit in the first place.
True.
Well, this is the path our young charges would have us walk, and that we all agreed to follow. You knew it would be hard, yet still you pledged your lance, did you not?
That I did.
That's for Gilia. Damn it. I need to help the others take her down.
There's no end to them!
I was wondering when you'd turn up. There's no stopping us now. Come on, let's show them what we're made of.
We have them
Die.
now! Forward!
It's time for murder. Okay, supply is going safe. Very good. Nothing to worry about then.
Right! Let them have it!
Die! Die! What's this? It's blue!
As a raging bull!
Pippin, what are you doing? What the heck? Pippin, chill! My man seems to have stolen Rawbarn's technique a bit. Well, I won't be complaining. The random off-screen stack mark. Slightly triggering.
Vigilia!
Do not fall behind!
Giga Tempest. Giga Chad. Go see ya. Oh, fuck me. That is not nice. How dare you? Resonant. Well, hello. Allow me to acquaint your face with fire. Ooh. Now that was a mean.
Is everyone all right?
Reinforcements? Nah. Oof. That's a lot of enemies. Ah. Not a fan. No, 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 no.
Kneel or die!
Well, bombs away. Oh, come on. Bleh. Die. Ow. You, not me. Request assistance. No. No assistance. Boom. Ah, yes. Very good. Oh, go! Go, Bnnuy!
Tremble before the sun!
It's so fun to be on the other side of these attacks for once.
May your screams fill the air!
And 3, 2, 1, bong. Goodbye. Let's go. That is so fun. It's such a good way to end this fight. Just have Sadhu finally cast her thing. From way back when.
A worthy adversary.
The victory theme.
Rest,
no.
recover, reclaim yourself. Then we will fight again, to the death.
Maybe not.
Sadhu Hatun.
F.
That was the last of them.
F, Bnnuy. I'm sorry, but
Day
they
is
gay.
ours, thanks to your timely arrival. What of the supply caravan? Outmaneuvered, but not outmatched. Good. Let us take the Imperials into custody and rejoin our comrades. And soon we shall arrive at the capital.
There it is. The tower.
So cold and unforgiving. Thus spoke Emperor Solus as he gazed upon his barren domain. "800 years it had been since the Garleans first set foot here. Bested by the Kavosi after centuries of war and driven from fertile southern pastures into the blasted northern wastes. In that garden of desolation, they clung to one another for warmth, freezing, hungry, desperate, hated. The chosen forsaken. In the year 1513 of the 6th Astral Era, a young legatus named Solus single-handedly sparked the Magitech Revolution. How did he conceive the machina that feed on ceruleum? Once a common, soft-spoken soldier, how had he so quickly ascended through the ranks? Like so many others, those who knew the truth are gone. Taking in the capital with his eyes for the first time, I recall thinking to myself, far colder on the earth than in the heavens. Yes, far colder indeed. Bitterly so.
Not so much as a whisper.
The roads leading beyond the city walls would have been used less in recent years. Nevertheless, this was one of the most important gateways into the capital.
A buzz day and night with activity, aye. Merchants passing through the checkpoint, many of them stopping at the local hostelries.
Surely they cannot all have been tempered.
Surely.
We can consider the question after we have made camp. If we spend any longer outside, we may well freeze to death where we stand. The tempered Imperials, too.
This will be our temporary base of operations. Secure shelter for ourselves and the injured, and dispatch scouts to survey the surrounding area.
If we're planning on staying here a while, we ought to give this place a proper name.
Well, the constant sound of ice cracking underfoot makes me think of broken glass. An apt name, perhaps. But enough of this. To work, everyone!
Okay, not quite an hour, but 40 minutes. Which is quite enough. Alrighty then. Alrighty then. Sorry for the shorter stream today, but as I've written in the Discord, I had a long meeting right before stream, and I couldn't start sooner. Like, I started exactly as the meeting ended. No minute later. But I've got to do preparation for tomorrow's Pathfinder session. And so I will have to end the stream here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've had a good time. And I'll see you tomorrow for some Pathfinder action. Bye-bye.